It's certainly hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public with the largest IPO that ever.
When you think of tech in California, you probably don't think of Southern California. But in LA County, a tech boom is underway.
We don't have time, we are rushing against time.
Eventually, we will be making all of America's fuel grown from the ground up here in America.
Investors have poured billions into the startups here. And like SpaceX, they're trying to do some crazy things. These startups are no ordinary startups. They're changing the weather, turning sewage into fuel, and 3D printing cars. We visited a few of these companies to see what the future might look like and actually understand what's happening in LA County.
Well, our mission is build the American industrial base back.
How do we help future-proof our national economy and our national security?
We got exclusive tours of two of the most interesting companies in the area, Divergent and GrayMatter, both of whom want to fundamentally change and bring back manufacturing to the U.S. So come with us to LA County to see the future. Our journey began in El Segundo, a quiet neighborhood just south of LAX. It doesn't look like a tech town at first. It actually looks stuck in the past. One thing we've noticed about El Segundo is the golf carts. People are driving golf carts out here. They talk about LA traffic. Now we know who's causing it. Look at this. But we wanted to visit the neighborhood to see what it's like and also get to know one of El Segundo's newest and most interesting companies, Western Chemicals. I mean, every single block you just have a few startups that you've never heard of. Here's one called Argo, starring Ben Affleck. We'll see if he's in there. I doubt it. The tech community here is very unique. The founders here are unabashedly pro-America, and they call themselves the Gundo Bros. And the companies inside are doing crazy shit like this one. Wait, Jared, what do you all do?
We turn wastewater into fuel. It's a beautiful organism called duckweed. So duckweed grows on wastewater, pulls out the nutrients, and then we can harvest the duckweed, and it has a bunch of proteins and carbohydrates. The carbohydrates we can take and we can turn it into fuel. And then we take it over here to our fuel reactor system. So this is a fermentation vessel.
Wastewater, duckweed,
Yep.
magic.
And then ethanol.
What needs to happen to do that at like a huge scale?
Yeah, so we need to capture a lot of acreage, a lot of surface area. So in order to make all of America's fuel, we need like 40 to 50 million acres. Sounds like a lot. It's not that much considering a lot of agricultural land is like grazeland. It's not really used for anything.
What is unique about this group of companies here in this movement?
I think the biggest thing is that everybody here is mission driven. So everybody is doing some kind of crazy technology, basically for the reason of supporting, God, family, country. A lot of these companies are going to make a whole lot of money in the long term, but nobody's doing it for that reason. Everybody just wants to make America a better place for Americans. And the best way we think to do that is through innovative technologies and doing that at massive scale.
What do you think when you see think pieces, that'll come out about the Gundo and they'll be like, oh, it's a fratty culture? What do you think of those?
El Segundo is the highest concentration of good founders in America. The fellows are just off and running.
Soren keeps winning. Zane keeps winning. These guys keep winning. So you have to win with them.
Getting all of us at one table is like maybe not the best idea.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's welcome. You just have to get to work. If you're willing to work hard, you're welcome here.
How often are you all hitting bench press?
Yeah, not as often as I would like, but we're trying to get into it.
You guys are looking good.
Yeah.
You are looking good. What was that?
Are you a betting man? Yeah, I bet you I can bench more than you. $20.
20? Let's do it. All right. Let's go. You're looking a little big. I didn't realize that. All right, here we go.
135 is going to be easy. Push. Get it up.
All right, let's go. The max off. Oh God, I don't like this already.
Oh, that's easy. Oh, that's tough! Listen, if you want to come build, Come to Western Chemicals.
One thing we noticed walking around El Segundo is that there were many space companies in the area, and that might have something to do with the fact that SpaceX was founded in El Segundo in 2002. It later moved to the nearby city of Hawthorne, where it still employs thousands of engineers to this day. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Our goal on this channel is to capture the world without bias or fear, and we try to keep our videos interesting for you with special episodes like this one. So please hit that subscribe button, and back to LA. Now, before we stop by the multi-billion-dollar company Divergent, which is 3D printing plane parts and also making the fastest street legal car in the world at its sister company, we visited GrayMatter. Okay, not that GrayMatter. Now, what GrayMatter does might sound boring, but it's actually incredibly important. Trillions of dollars are spent globally every year on doing the dirty work in manufacturing. Things like painting, blasting, sanding, and more. What if robots could do that for you? Well, that's what GrayMatter is building.
We're ultimately developing is factory superintelligence that unlocks best-in-class manufacturing processes and throughput. When you look at things that are in the automation space, it's usually either automobile, semiconductor, maybe some like medical device. Anything that's been done like exactly the same 100,000 times, you can automate that.
Right.
The rest of the manufacturing industry, where there's any kind of variability in what you're doing, let's say a ride-out football helmet, right? The material itself is going to change every single time, just a little bit. That small variability in that material is what has made it unable to adopt automation in robotics historically. That's the technology layer that we've been able to develop. And through that like foundation layer, now you can do things like sanding, grinding, blasting, coating, right? Like now you can understand the variability of the geometry. So now you can actually do something about it.
Their robots do this dirty work for the US Navy, the Air Force, and even the helmet company Rydell.
All Rydell football helmets, in between seasons, they have to be checked first, like making sure that they're actually safe for the next season. But a lot of times they have to sand them all down and repaint them, right? To make them look fresh. That process historically was done by hand, by a human. Our robotics actually now does a lot of that sanding for them.
They then showed us how one of their sanding robots works, and even let me do the operating.
You don't need to go hire new engineers. You don't need to hire new programmers. It's drop the cell in, leverage the team that you already have. Now they can do so much more with the tooling, and then they just run from there. One of the big things that when customers come in, they're like either A, it's a staged demo, right? And B, it's like, is it really adaptive? So we'll have you load that cell and become an operator in less than 5 minutes.
Just go in process mode over here. Activate.
Activate.
That's it, the part is processed.
Look at that.
You can now call yourself a robot operator.
We were like truly surprised to learn that the vast 90% of manufacturing is still dependent on manual labor. And there's not enough people to do those jobs anymore. The demand for physical goods are soaring, the skilled workforce is shrinking. And also on top of that, all these operations are so tedious and so ergonomically challenging on the human body, no one wants to do those jobs anymore. As of today in the US, we have 500,000 skilled workers short. And then in the next 7 years, that number is growing to be about almost 4 million skilled workers short in the US. So when we engage with these customers, even the shop floor people, they actually love our solution because essentially we are giving them a smart assistant. We are augmenting their productivity. We're giving them a smart tool that can now help them to become 12, 20, 50x more productive compared to what were they before. Previously, they were using a hand tool, and now they're using a smart robotic cell as a big tool that can boost their productivity.
Now, what he just said is a key belief among the deep tech communities in LA County. They believe that technology is the key to progress. Just as SpaceX beat Russia through better technology, companies here believe the only way we can bring back manufacturing to the US is not going back to the past, but through building better technology today. And for GrayMatter, which is now a $200 million company, that means making robots that do the dirty work instead of or alongside humans. How did the US compare to other global leaders, Japan, China, South Korea, when it comes to AI robotics? Where are we in that race?
We are very far behind. I'm like, really sad to say, Max, that we are not where we need to be. The number of robots per 1,000 human workers in that density, Korea is like number one, right? And China is growing rapidly. China bought more than half of the robots that was sold globally last year, right? We are nowhere close. We need to expand our capacity dramatically. Between World War II until now, tonnage-wise, the amount of ship US has produced, China produced more than that just in the last 12 months. We need to dramatically accelerate our capacity. Every new technology, every new leap technology, it creates new opportunities for us as mankind, right? What we are seeing today, even in factories, when we bring these autonomous solutions for our manufacturers, for these customers, they are able to level up their skilled workforce. So the quality of lives are improving, the capabilities are shifting. It's a new way of thinking. We have to think about how do we create the optimal teaming of humans, robots, and AI, right? And it's going to be an evolution. It's not a step function change. We don't have time. We are rushing against time. Look, it's not about just beating China. We need to maintain our leadership globally, right? We need to be the leader in global economy. We need to be the leader when it comes to like managing our national security. We need to be self-sufficient. It's about being self-sufficient. It's about creating abundance for the people of US. We have to bolster our national manufacturing to secure our national economy.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Kabir.
Thank you, Max.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming in here.
This was great. The only beef I have with you is I'm a Notre Dame grad, USC. That's my everywhere you look here. We left GrayMatter and continued to Divergent, which is based next to its sister company Zinger, the maker of the fastest road legal car in the world.
22.3, boys.
Woo! 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 Recently valued at $2.3 billion, Divergent 3D prints car and plane parts. And they don't do this for cheap products. They do this for the military and also high-end companies like McLaren.
It's 100% engineered and then additively manufactured by Divergent. And that's how we work with customers. Looks almost complete, because it is almost complete, but it's missing all the electronics, the payload, which the prime integrator will do. But what does Divergent do? We design, engineer, and manufacture all the primary structure. That exact unit has actually flown, and Mach Industries is the prime on that. They're down the street from us here. And this is going to end up being a vertical takeoff, so it'll have a solid rocket motor, basically boost up to high altitude. And then I'll have a secondary propulsion system, a turbojet, that'll come on. It'll turn into a long-range cruise missile.
So what are we looking at behind us right now?
Yeah, when you think about our process, engineering and manufacturing. Engineering, we're engineering a structure very quickly using automation, using generative design. We're fully simulating the manufacturing. That converges on CAD, three-dimensional representation of what we're going to build, what we're going to make. That's part of the front end of Divergent. That's how we partner with our customers. Once we have that CAD, say it's an airframe for a cruise missile, maybe it's 10 individual printed pieces. Those will get printed in the printer room. Those 10 pieces will come out. Then they'll make themselves into the assembly cell.
Will there be a point where producing things in a 3D printer is safer and the outputs are higher quality than making them in traditional ways?
Yes, it's already happened. So we're out-competing cast and machine parts all the time on critical programs, production programs. And the material properties are better, the timelines are shorter, and the unit cost, we're actually able to hit a lower unit cost per unit on a lot of these systems.
What makes these printers different than other printers and your competitors' printers?
Yeah, so these printers are really focused on industrial output. So hitting high volumes, hitting high quality measures, and doing that day in, day out, running near 24/7 with almost no downtime. So one of these printers, our future platforms, you'll be able to do about 200 of your typical munition airframe per year per printer.
Why make cars?
Well, it's a great business, first off, we believe, and there's a huge gap in the US for the true performance hypercar niche brand. And we have a huge passion for it, right? You can probably see me smiling. I'm like, why make cars? Because I freaking love cars. But yeah.
Lucas explained that they don't just 3D print the parts and hope they work. They also have smart robots that can scan each part to ensure they're precise. We saw this process up close. But is this the same as the manufacturing of years past? In Southern California, the entrepreneurs believe that America has to face the hard reality that if we want to bring back manufacturing, it has to look like robotics and 3D printing. Now, according to these companies, humans won't go anywhere. They'll work alongside the machines made in America, and that we have to make this pivot if we want to beat China. The future of manufacturing in their eyes is less dirty and less dangerous, and much more digital. Thank you to Western Chemicals, GrayMatter, and Divergent for all hosting us for factory tours. Thank you to all of you for watching. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button.